How's it going, everyone? You're watching the Green Dream Project. Jim here. And today I'm very excited because we're going to be going over how to build gabions, or at least how we build gabions. I got the idea a while ago about building some gabions around some of these posts, so I did a lot of research. A big inspiration to me for this project was Joe over by Homesteadonomics. He has a really great video on it. I gleaned some information from there, but I had to make some changes to the design for our particular needs. Come along, let me show you what we got going on. Okay, so you'll want to start out with some remesh. And it's just a very thick gauge wire. You usually find it around where they sell rebar and concrete. And it's probably the main component for the mechanical aspect, which holds all of your rocks in place. Now, we bought ours because we have quite a few we're going to build. Also, it comes in a roll, and we want to make round gabions. So it's actually kind of perfect for our need. You absolutely don't have to go out and buy some. You can also check out places like Craigslist, or maybe metal scrap yards, or any place they might get rid of like construction materials, whatnot. You might be able to get a bunch of this for free. So definitely check around before making a purchase. If you don't want to maybe do a round one, maybe you want to do a gabion wall. A lot of people do gabion walls. Scrap pieces might be great for that kind of thing. So let's get started with this roll. We got these really nice bolt cutters, and it's perfect for especially for cutting wire like this. Thick wire, like butter. So I'm making a 2-foot diameter gabion cage and approximately 3 feet high. Now each of these squares are about 6-inch sections. So I already kind of determined that I need about 7 feet to make that 2-foot diameter. So I'm going to count out 14 of these squares. Alright, now since I don't need the whole sheet of this, I'm going to cut part of that off to give me my 3-foot height, and I'm going to use that scrap piece for the bottom layer of the gabion. So it's a scrap piece, so it's not going to be perfect, but I'm just going to try and give it so that it's got about a couple feet going around. Alright, perfect. Now that I got my bottom piece, let's go start assembling this thing. For my particular purpose, since these gabions are going around these posts, I'm going to throw a little gravel down at the bottom of these posts just to kind of level out the ground, and that way the rocks at the bottom of the gabion won't sink down. It'll be a nice level surface. Alright, so in order to fit this piece around the bottom of these posts, I'm just going to cut a couple of these wires so that I can maneuver it around here. By the way, when working with wire or any kind of thing like this, always be wearing gloves. Straightening out these pieces a little bit so that it lies flat. Bottom of the gabion, ready to go. Some other tools that might be handy to have. We got some tie wire. We got some larger 6-gauge galvanized wire. Got some wire cutters, some pliers, a hammer, and a little measuring tape. I'm just going to use a little piece of wire to get us started. Of course, we'll edit most of this out. Once you get the two ends together, that's what you need. This little bit will just hold the two ends together. Now we're gonna bring in our wire twisting specialist, our wire specialist. Jessica's gonna take over from here.
right now I am twisting this tie wire around each connection point. Since we have a square bottom to a round pillar shape, I'm just cutting some of the mesh on the bottom and bending it up to kind of fit the round shape.
So you can see here, Jessica never does anything halfway. She always goes out full on, and she has wired each connection point around the bottom, and then going along the side where the two ends meet, she's doubled up, going for each connection point on the side. So you know this cage is going to be super sturdy. Of course, to complete your gabion, you need rocks. Plenty of them. And we got a whole mess of them. In fact, I did videos on it. I had Jason over here helping us. I had Kathleen from Mama Grows and her family helping us out, and we got a bunch of rocks. And we have a field of rocks all around us, so we have no shortage of supply. So now that Jessica's done the hard part, all the wiring, now comes the fun part, filling the gabions. That's my job. Unfortunately, it's not just as easy as taking a bunch of rocks, throwing it in. I have a specific kind of order that I go in. I'm gonna get my large size rocks. Large flat rocks are good, especially for us. And I just like to get those around the edges. You can absolutely get more wire, and you can attach more wire to the sides of these to kind of close off these gaps, because these are large 6-inch gaps. But since we have incredibly large rocks, we've opted not to do that and just save a little bit on the material. How I do it then, since we have these large gaps, get those larger rocks around the perimeter. Or these boulders. There's almost kind of like a Zen art to the placement of these things. So like I said, I like to go large to small. Then on the inside of this ring, I could put in my medium-sized rocks. And don't discount the small rocks. These can be good for getting right toward the middle. One kind of cool thing about the construction of these gabions, let's say you have old refuse construction material looking to get rid of, like old dried up concrete lying around. That's great, where you can just kind of toss that right in the middle as filler material, and that's fine. Whatever you put in the middle here is fine, because that's going to get covered up by these larger rocks, and you just need something kind of in the middle just to fill it out. Now this particular thing is just something I'm doing for this particular build, because I want there to be as little lateral movement on this post as possible. We got some excess gravel, and I'm going to throw some of that in just to kind of close up any of the gaps in the middle, just to make the middle a little sturdier. So this part is just personal preference by us in keeping the gabion together, but also tying the gabion a little bit more to the post. We are going to use this 6-gauge galvanized wire, and we're going to go across one at 1 foot and the other at 2 feet. Again, that might be just a little bit of overkill on our part, but yeah, it probably doesn't need quite that much, but just for our own peace of mind. So for us on this 2-foot spacing, we go with about 4 feet of the galvanized wire to make it from one side to go around the post and to make it to the other side. Like butter. Now I'm going to tag my beautiful assistant again, and we're going to tag team this. All right, now that we've got the wire attached, I'm gonna keep filling that up. And we've attached our wire going north to south here. When we get to the next level, we'll probably do it east to west. Get it all multi-directional and stuff. So after the second wire is done, I just keep going on with the same technique, filling the outside with the larger rocks, getting some of the medium-sized rocks in there. Looks mighty nice. Can't even see any of the gravel that I put in there. All that gravel's on the inside. So actually, of the projects that we've done here on the homestead, I think this is probably one of the most fun that I've ever had. I think one of the longest parts of the process is just collecting all the rocks. But once you do that, getting these things up, it's fairly quick, fairly easy. And these things have multiple purposes. Gabions are incredibly sturdy. A lot of times these things are used for erosion control, sometimes retaining walls. We've built our gabion columns here to help support the posts for extra wind resistance, just to keep any kind of lateral movement from happening on these posts. So not only does it provide that function, but it has a really great aesthetic to it. It looks absolutely great alongside this roof. So I hope you found this video informative. This is how we've been building our gabions, and for the reason that we're using it for. Maybe you have your own reason for building gabions, whether you want to build them in columns or squares. It just proves how multifaceted these things are, and it's only limited by your imagination. All right, thanks a lot for joining us, everyone. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.